the Evergreen Googlebot is like the best thing since sliced bread, and I'm really, really happy to have been part of it and had the honor to actually present about it at Google I/O last year. That was really, really cool. It was a huge undertaking, and the credit really goes to the rendering team, not to me. But it was amazing to see how carefully they weighed the different options they had, how carefully they developed solutions to the problems at hand, to the challenges that we were presented with, and how smoothly the rollout worked. That was really, really mind-blowing and really awesome.
Who came up with the name Evergreen?
That was me.
That was you. Amazing. Wow.
I actually didn't really come up with it. It's just in developer circles, it's quite a usual term to refer to certain browsers as evergreen browsers because they keep updating themselves, like Firefox does, Chrome does, Opera, as far as I'm aware, does. I think Edge does that as well. But it didn't used to be that way, right? Like long years ago, when we had Internet Explorer 6, the only way to actually update from Internet Explorer 6 was to get a newer version of Windows. I'm not sure about Safari. I think Safari is now also evergreen, unless you're on iOS, I believe. I think it's still not evergreen on iOS. But basically, like whenever, or early Android versions had the browser version that they used built into their operating system, kind of. So whatever Chrome you were running was actually running like, or not really necessarily Chrome, but like the built-in browser would run an older version. And the only way to update that older version was to upgrade the operating system. Those were non-evergreen browsers, but conveniently, we now have evergreen browsers, which means that you get a little notification like there's a new update. You click on it, it restarts, and then you have the newest browser. And Googlebot does the same thing. It now, whenever there is an update, it pretty much automatically updates to the latest stable version, rather than us having to work years on actually making one version jump.
Yeah, I got to tell you, that was probably one of the more applauded releases by Google in a long time. So good work with that. The only one negative, I think, was the user agent. I don't know if that was overlooked for a little bit and you released it with the old user agent, or that was planned where you say, we're going to keep the old user agent.
Yeah, that was planned. And that's actually, I understand that, but that was actually the best thing to me about it, that we identified in experiments that a significant amount of websites would break if we would just update the user agent, because they are specifically fixing some weirdness in their website's code base by looking at the user agent, and they expected us to say that we are 41. So instead of just going like, well, it's easier for us to just update the user agent and then just be done with it, we said, no, we can't do that. And I'm really, really grateful for the team because the rendering team, especially Zoe Clifford, she came forward and said like, well, we shouldn't really be doing this, and like worked with us to figure out a strategy and how to address this. That's why we proactively communicated, hey, by the way, the user agent is frozen, but we'll update in half a year. And then we did another update where it said like it will update in 3 months. And then we did another one and saying like next month is going to happen. And then we worked with there were a few technology providers that provide services or libraries that people are using that were actually controlling a large part of these breaking websites. And we could work with them because they were aware of our proactive communication. So they reached out and said like, hey, how can we test this? Is this enough? Is this how it should work? And when we actually flipped and now use the actual user agent version, pretty much no fires broke out. So that's really, really cool.